Welcome back to the NYGunGuys podcast. My name is John.
My name's Taylor.
Check us out, Instagram, Facebook, subscribe.
Share.
I always forget, so I have to remember to do it right away. Because as soon as we start talking, I'll forget.
Yeah, I know. It's all good.
So, Taylor.
Yeah, man.
You brought some goodies.
I did bring some goodies.
Talk to me. What did you bring? What are we talking about today? This might be interesting. I'm surprised we didn't talk about this sooner.
I know. I was really... I can't believe we didn't think about it. I was texting you the other day about some other stuff, and I'm like, dude, we didn't do an episode on shotguns.
Yeah.
All this talk about, defense and panic buying.
Right.
We didn't do an episode on shotguns.
Yeah, it's usually like the first thing people buy.
I know. And honestly, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on shotguns. So for me, this is kind of like an interesting learning curve. Mm-hmm. But they're very much a needed weapon in society.
It was my first gun.
And what kind of shotgun was it?
It was a Mossberg.
Okay.
Like whatever their entry level, 500 or I think that's the entry level.
Well, it's the step above the entry level. I think the Maverick 88 is the entry level.
No, I have the Mossberg 500. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about shotguns, which I think is an excellent, even a first gun, but also a gun that I think even the seasoned gun owners should have.
Right.
Versatile, handy, could really be anything you want it to be. It could put food on the table, and it could, drop bad guys coming in your home.
Food on the table.
Yeah.
Talking about like in a hunting scenario.
Yeah. Because a lot
like
of
going
times,
out and like robbing people.
Well, especially in New York,
It's
I
just
know
the way
that
you said it is weird.
on Long Island, for example, like hunting with a rifle, you can't really do on Long Island. Upstate you can, obviously, but so shotgun hunting is a very popular option.
Yeah, I didn't know you can't hunt with a rifle.
Yeah, I think I think it's just because of I don't hunt, and people tell me things. I'm like, oh, that's surprising, but yeah, it's very limited. I think it's almost non-existent with rifle or
interesting.
Yeah, but shotgun is a lot more popular because it's a legal category to hunt. Shotgun versus rifle versus bow. Bow hunting is very popular on Long Island because it's not a firearm.
Right.
I know people that hunt with shotguns, and it's they say the shotgun season is open and long. So I don't know anything about hunting, but I'm just a dude from the suburbs. But anyway,
yeah, I would love to go hunting.
Oh my god, I would too.
Yeah?
I would really love to.
We should look into that.
I know, but my problem is like if you don't have anybody to like take you to go hunting to show you, like where do you even begin? Like
you have the greatest source of information on the planet, dude. You have a computer.
No, I know, but you can't read how to hunt, how to do this, how to. Yeah, I mean you can, but you really need somebody to show you.
I don't think so.
I think you do. I can't just go out in the woods on my own and expect to watch a YouTube video and be Elmer Fudd.
Well, you could watch a couple. I mean, like some of the greatest hunters go out and they don't fucking come back with anything because it's not only about.
No, I'm not saying about coming back with anything, but number one, like being safe. Number two, know what you're doing. How to set up a tree stand, how to track game, how to mask your scent, how to butcher and process a game. Like okay,
well, I wouldn't know how to like butchering something. Yeah, you would definitely need something. But there's places you could bring like a deer and
you kill a 150-pound deer out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, what do you do now?
You grab the front legs, I'll grab the back ones, bro.
That'll get tired real fucking fast.
Throw it in the back of the fucking.
Oh my god! Your car. So yeah, it's one thing I'd love to learn, and one thing that I think I really need to be taught and shown. This isn't like home repair.
No, I mean I think you could do it, but just think about. Come on, I think you could figure it out.
I don't know, man.
You go once or twice, and you learn things. It's like anything else.
Well. I really think for me personally, I'd want somebody to show me how to do it, show me the ropes.
All right, I'll show you the ropes. I'll watch it. I'll watch a video, and I'll show you the ropes.
Anyway.
Do you know anybody who hunts?
I do, and it's always kind of like one of those things where it's like, hey, yeah, I'd really like to go, but it's just time.
You're not close with them?
Not
really.
Close.
You work with them?
Yeah. I mean, if I probably wanted to, I could. And I know people that live like out of state that if I ask, they'll probably say okay. But now with a baby and work and just getting time to go do that, and you need a hunting, you need your hunter safety course, and which isn't hard to do, from what I hear.
Yeah. Well, you can always like hunt for bear and use their baby as bait.
Fuck. Jesus, man.
All right, come on. Let's do it.
Anyway, enough of that. It's early, and we're a little tired.
Yeah,
but
I got to drink my coffee.
So, I brought 2 shotguns with me here today, and these are 2 of mine.
Here, let me do it.
Yeah, there you go.
This mic.
Oh, yeah, the good mic. He just dropped it in the slide. He did oh my God, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's not right, dude.
Nah, I know. People always say, all you gotta do is rack a shotgun and they'll go running, man.
You just rack the shotgun and fire 2 blasts.
Oh, yeah, as per Joe Biden.
Quote unquote, as the media has determined him to be the president-elect.
Yes. Actually, he wants you to get a double-barrel shotgun and then fire off.
Double-barrel shotgun. We played it on the other episode. Shit is so funny.
Go off on your porch and fire 2 blasts in a nondescript direction. Who gives a shit where the pellets fly?
I mean, that's what he told Jill.
Anyway, that fucking moron. So yeah, I brought 2 shotguns with me today. Very similar, but they're different and they have different purposes. The one that we were just handling is the Remington TAC 14.
Yeah.
Little, wily non-shotgun firearm item. And then the other one is a Mossberg 500 with an 18-inch barrel.
Now, do you want to explain what you mean by non-firearm?
Yeah.
Some people might not realize.
Okay, so like we talked about with our other episode, the New York compliant others or other firearms. Technically, some people would call this colloquially like a sawed-off. But what it is basically it's a shotgun receiver that never had a stock on it, and the companies, Mossberg, Remington, Black Aces, whatever, they figured out, hey, you can make a, quote, shotgun. It's technically a firearm, but you never put a butt stock on it. It's over 26 inches in length, and it has a grip on it, and it's pump action, so it's just a firearm. It's not a shotgun, it's not a rifle, it's not a pistol, it's not an AOW.
Right.
So this is just a firearm. And
right.
because it's pump action, it's legal in New York State. Right. I think also the TAC 13, the semi-auto one, is legal too. And I know Black Aces Tactical makes a semi-auto one that has a brace and a pistol grip on it. I think that's legal as well because technically it's not a shotgun, and New York State only defines rifle, shotguns, and pistols. So this is a little short one. It's just a hair over 26 inches in length. It's got a 14.5-inch barrel, I believe, on it. And it holds, I believe, 4+1, so a total of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a handy little gun. It's very wily, and you really have to be able to manage it when you shoot it. It's not meant for precision, long-range shots. It's not meant for hunting. It's meant for, like I say, up close and personal. It's meant for,
popping out of the bedroom door into the hall. And
right, and just letting it fly.
Right.
That's pretty much what this is for. Although, you could put a brace on this and put a pistol grip, and this would be a really, really handy weapon. Yeah. I mean, really handy. They make them now with braces and pistol grips. That's from the factory, which are legal in New York. So that's always an option. I bought this many years ago before the bracing of other, quote, shotguns. I'm just going to say shotguns because it is. Was really a thing. And, in hindsight, I bought this kind of right when it came out. In hindsight, I prefer the Mossberg Shockwave over the Remington. I think it has more features. I think I just like Mossberg shotguns better, but I saw this one and I kind of impulse bought it, and I like it. But certain things like the position of the safety, if you want to put a magazine extension tube on the Remington TAC 14, you have to drill out dimples in order to be able to put an extension on it. So from the factory, it's not really like plug and play as a Mossberg is, but it is very handy, and I really like it. I love seeing people shoot this at the range, and they just holy shit,
breaking some fucking...
Yeah. And it's not as bad as people think it is, because the short barrel doesn't really allow enough pressure to generate. If you shoot, for example, the last time I think I shot this, I shot 3-inch Magnum loads out of it, and it was like a turkey hunting load or something.
Yeah.
And the muzzle flash was just insane because all the powder was just coming out the barrel. It didn't have time to build up pressure.
Do you remember, this is going back, years.
Yeah.
You and I were at the range and we were watching a guy firing a sawed-off shotgun. I don't remember what brand it was, but he was some big dude, and he was firing it with a cigar in his mouth. And
is that the one with the pistol grip only shotguns, the PGOs?
I don't think it had a pistol grip. I just remember seeing this guy I don't know. I just have this image in my head of this guy. He's he had a cigar in his mouth, and he's got the fucking
at his hip.
No, he was firing it like full on,
Oh my
like
God.
it was a handgun.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
shit was so funny. I don't know. I think you were there. It was just one of those like weird range memories. You know?
Maybe. But yeah, so this thing shooting it is very interesting. You really gotta be able to handle it, and you gotta really know how to shoot it. But it's honestly not terrible. I find that honestly, stout loads from a regular stocked shotgun is actually is harder on your body because it has more time to generate pressure in a barrel, and where you place it on your shoulder or your chest, you're taking that impact. Your arm, you could kind of rock it and sway it and absorb some of that recoil. Now, so that gun is one of my favorite guns, and especially considering today's pandemic buying and pricing. I mean, people want ridiculous money for those things. I see certain local retailers selling them for like $900. I see them going online for like $600-$700.
At a certain website.
Yeah, you can go there. Kind of rhymes with berries. Which I actually heard.
Is it in Bohemia?
Yeah, I saw on Reddit the other day. Apparently, they got a visit from like some federal alphabet agency the other day. It was on the New York Gun subreddit. They got a visit over something, and I think people were speculating it's probably due to them selling others. But somebody said, "Oh, I was in the store and like feds came in," and yeah, I know. So that's what you read on Reddit, and people said, we're talking about it. But the other gun I brought is a Mossberg 500, probably the most ubiquitous kind of home defense-esque shotgun. This one has a collapsing ATI buttstock with a shell holder on the right side, pistol grip. It's got a corncob grip with a strap. Put your hand under, and a heat shield over the barrel. I'll pass this to John. Sorry, I know I'm banging the table up. So that one is set up for a more home defense-esque. That's the one that I keep in the closet. Yeah, there you go.
There's like nothing more recognizable in my opinion than like a shotgun racking, and it's just like one of those beautiful sounds.
It is. But the myth of them just saying, "Oh, all you got to do is rack it, and the bad guys will go running." Listen, if your shotgun isn't loaded already, that's your fucking problem. That's problem number one.
Right.
You don't keep it loaded. Like, what's going on? Thank you.
Yeah.
Making it safe and clear, even though it already is. So, pandemic 2020, shotguns are a hot commodity, right? Now, if you're thinking about going out and buying one, well, like I've said in previous podcasts, you waited too long, but the New York Gun Guys will kind of give you some information here to make your gun buying process hopefully a little easier.
If you can find one.
If you can find one. Now, there are shotguns available, and this is the interesting thing that I've been seeing. One of our last episodes, we talked about availability, pricing on guns and ammo and such. I haven't seen a Mossberg or a Remington advertised on a website and a store since, the beginning of the year. What I have seen is imported shotguns, like from Turkey and other places. And I've seen a company, Black Aces Tactical, they're just like dominating the market right now because I guess they're the only ones available.
Yeah.
They make some interesting guns. They were kind of the first company, if I remember correctly, to do the whole non-NFA shotgun, other kind of gun, if I remember correctly. The braced, quote, shotgun. So they make all different kinds of models, semi-auto, pump action, braced, non-NFA. They make it all. I hear that they are good shotguns. I haven't heard anything overly amazing about them. Like if you look up some of the YouTube videos, people say they've had problems with them, but then other people are like, "Oh, they're amazing. You just have to handle them properly because otherwise they might short stroke," or depending on if they're semi-auto or pump. But for the price nowadays, they are one of the better buys you can get.
I'm looking at them and they're pretty much all under. Most of them are under $600.
Black Aces Tactical?
Yeah. They're like $599 and below. There's one that's a little more. It's like $670. But other than that,
where are you looking on?
Their website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could buy it straight from them, or dealers stock them. Like a local shop to me had one. It was cool. It was like the super shorty one with the brace on it, which was really cool. It was semi-auto, and I was like, holy crap! And it was like $600. Honestly, I wanted one of them just for the novelty of it, but I'm not going to go buy one now just because of pricing.
Yeah. Well, you can put an order on their website.
Yeah, but
who knows when it will get to you? I mean, they might be making them to order at this point.
I mean, they just pump it out. The ammunition too. All the ammunition I see is Black Ace Tactical shotgun ammunition.
They make their own ammo, right?
I don't know. They might import it and brand it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might have like a licensing deal.
Yeah, importing and branding. I don't know, man, but them and the Turkish imports seem to be just dominating the market right now. You can't find a Mossberger or Remington. Now, when it comes to shotguns, somebody was asking me, Taylor, I want to buy a shotgun, and I'm like, okay, well, do you want it for hunting? Do you want it for home defense? He's like, home defense. I'm like, okay. So just like I said, when you're buying like a gun, you really need to know what its purpose is. So for a shotgun, for home defense, you don't want like a super long 28-inch, 24-inch barrel. You don't want a rifled barrel. You will just want a smooth bore, cylinder choke, bore choke, just a regular open bore. Preferably, you'd want something that's a little more compact, 18-inch barrel, 20-inch barrel at the most. You want it to have features that'll make you easier to shoot it.
Yeah, you want to be able to like not have to worry about swinging the gun around and hitting stuff.
Right.
Right,
and that's why a lot of these brace shotguns, well, quote shotguns, are a great option because they're short to compact, but it comes at a cost of ammunition capacity.
Sure.
So, there's always a give and take. But with a shotgun, it's not spray and pray. You do have to aim it. But generally in a confined space in a hallway or in a bedroom, you're talking distances 10 yards max. I mean, I don't know if anybody's hallways that I know is longer than that, longer than 10 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to take into account for everything.
Right.
But I mean, I guess it depends on where you live.
Right.
It also depends, like if you have a bigger house and like let's say you're like upstairs and there's a what's it called, and you're shooting down for whatever reason, but I think a shotgun it is a good option,
I think it is.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say generally also before the pandemic pricing, they were very affordable.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that people like. You can get a great shotgun like this Mossberg here for like $350.
Right.
And you could buy ammo and it didn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Right.
So that was the appeal to a lot of people of, it's affordable, it's a great home defense weapon. But now, obviously with pandemic pricing, buckshot's going for over $1 a round.
Right.
These shotguns are just going through the roof price-wise.
Right.
So when like I was saying, when you buy the shotgun, outfit it for what the ability to make you shoot it easier. For example, you don't have to get a 12 gauge. Both these guns are in 12 gauge, which is kind of like the quote standard, but also there's 20 gauge. And that's a smaller gauge.
Which would also be fine for home defense.
It is. Oh, trust me, it is. And it doesn't, you could
it's
also get
more controllable.
Right, more controllable, you could get low recoil rounds.
Yeah.
So you can manage recoil better, especially if you're a smaller statured person or a woman. And like Lisa said, ammunition choice is the most important thing when it comes to, using a shotgun.
Right.
Some people say birdshot is the best option for home defense because it's not going to penetrate walls. It's not going to do. Listen, I don't think that's the best option because if I'm using a gun against somebody, I don't, my intent is, all right, I'm pulling a trigger on someone. That whatever that is needs to stop. Right. I don't want to wound them. I just want it to be done. I'm not saying I want to kill them.
Yeah,
but
I mean, some people also they'll mix rounds.
Yeah, which I don't think is really that great because all right, the first shot, what is it going to be, a beanbag, and then if that doesn't stop it, then
no, I know people who do like the first round is buckshot, the second round is a slug, and then the next round is buckshot. But then you have to like be thinking under pressure.
Right. The recoil from a slug is going to be different than the recoil of buckshot.
Yeah, but not even that. I mean, you're just adding another thing to what you have to think about. Right. Okay, so like, if I fired one shot, now I have to think about where this next round goes because it's a slug and it's going to go through my wall and fucking kill my kid. Like,
I want it to be consistent.
Right, exactly.
So I use buckshot. I put buckshot in here. Double-aught buck. It's the most kind of commonly available.
Yeah.
And honestly, if that doesn't do the job, then I don't know what will. I mean, honestly, if the person coming to my house is wearing body armor, obviously this isn't going to work against that, but you're going to shoot at them and hopefully they will turn tail.
Most of the videos that you watch of people breaking into people's homes or businesses, and as soon as they're met with another firearm, they're gone.
Run. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but I'm saying you have a good odds that the first few rounds they go off, they're fucking out of there.
Right, and that's why I think for a home defense, I love the TAC-14. Don't get me wrong, But I think for a home defense scenario, if you're able to have more rounds in a shotgun, the better. The more ammunition you could shoot, the better.
Right.
This gun has a side saddle. It holds 1, 2, 3, 5 rounds on a side saddle, and I think this has a capacity of, oh geez, I forget how many were in here. I unloaded it this morning. I want to say like 1, 2, like maybe like 6 or 5.
It's probably 6 plus 1 or 7 plus 1.
Yeah, probably like 6 or 7 plus
Yeah.
1. So that's a lot of rounds. If it's 7 plus 1,
Yeah.
Plus the 5 on the side saddle, that's if you need many more than that, the police should be on their
You
way
ever
already.
practice like combat loading and shit?
No,
You really should.
I'm not. You know what it is, man? I'm not that proficient with a shotgun. Don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, I know how to use it, but I'm not. I don't train with it as often as I should have, mostly because, well, especially now the ammunition availability. But even before that, I used to buy a lot of ammo, and I would go to the range and blast off. But it was kind of always a pain in the neck because the range that I go to, you either can shoot slugs at the rifle line, or you have to go to the shotgun section, and there's only like a couple of tables there, and oftentimes they're occupied. So I'm like, all right, so I could either go and shoot rifle and practice with a rifle, or I could wait an hour or whatever, and then hopefully a table opens up at the shotgun section.
Yeah, the thing for me is like, and because you've been to the range with me at this point, I'm very much, when I go and night train, I'm training for, having to use it potentially.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, I would rather go practice with that in a capacity where, go to wherever I have to do, shoot, load, under stress, tactically,
Right, and the interesting thing is, which I just thought of, is you could train with birdshot. You could train the loading and the manipulation of the gun with birdshot. Sure. But you also have to realize that the recoil is going to be different from when you use birdshot versus buckshot.
Like the ammo I buy for my, the 9mm, I try and buy as close as possible to my duty ammo. Right. Grain count, all that stuff.
Right. And
just so it's at least it's a little similar.
The last time I shot this gun, actually, I took it to the range, and I was at the shotgun table there, and I was shooting it with some friends, and, a range officer called ceasefire, so I unloaded the gun, and I had this shell still in the side saddle, and the range officer said, oh, you need to take those out, and I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was a big deal, but yeah, I know. It's just like, okay, safety, whatever, that's fine. Obviously, it's not in the gun, it's just on it, I get it to a degree. But so it's just like, okay, practicing at a range in that capacity, it takes, you just have to be more aware of those stipulations where you're not going to have that in your house. All the side saddle's always loaded. Sure. In my house.
Well, when I go, depending on the range officer, and you've been there, some of the range officers I know, some I don't. Because I bring my gear, my duty belt, and a lot of the range officers say like, hey, you're an officer. On the ceasefire, you can leave your gun in your holster. Don't worry about it. And then others are like, oh my God, it needs to be out of your holster.
Right. Unholstered, unloaded.
Right. And I wear my duty belt. So if that doesn't make it obvious enough, I also wear my shield on the duty belt just so the range officers could see. Because, because they don't like rapid fire and shit like that. Yeah. But when I'm practicing, I fire quickly. So it kind of shows them, hey, like I'm not just being an asshole and shooting. There's a reason for why I'm doing what I'm doing. But because it just goes back to everyone's different. Every range is different. Every range officer is going to be different. So that one at that time I guess he just didn't want it there. Which,
like I said, is something I should practice more. Go to the range
I think you should absolutely. Yeah,
I'm more of a rifle guy, and that's really where I spend my time shooting.
You go shoot and you shoot for pleasure.
Yeah,
I mean I shoot for pleasure as well, but I also shoot for a different purpose as well. Right. So I love going to the range. I love shooting. Trust me, like it's the greatest thing in the world. But there's also another level to why I go. Right. That's why I don't bring all my guns to shoot them. Because
Yeah, I do. You are right. I do shoot more for pleasure. And,
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe I should try and find some, if they have birdshot anywhere, and just see about going.
Even if you put like one round or 2 rounds, shoot, and then do the quick reload, and then just so the movements you have to do, you don't have to think. It's all muscle memory at that point. Right, just something to think about.
Now, one thing also that I don't know too much about is semi-auto shotguns. New York, you can have semi-auto shotguns. For the most part, they are available. Great options are available. Like I know the Benelli M4 is a New York legal shotgun. I mean, before the pandemic, they were a very premium shotgun, and they were, very premium priced, but now they're just ridiculously priced. But John, we pulled up the definition of the SAFE Act here for semi-autos shotguns.
So it's not even So if you didn't already know, shotguns do have a place in the New York SAFE Act. They're called assault shotguns. They just pull this shit out of their ass.
I know, it's just
it's incredible. But
I'm surprised they didn't rename the bill to weapons of war.
Yeah, they should have. So a shotgun requires registration when it is semi-automatic and it has one of the following military characteristics, which most of us know: folding or telescoping stock, thumbhole stock, a second hand grip or protruding grip that is held by the non-shooting hand, fixed magazine capacity in excess of 7 rounds, and the ability to accept a detachable magazine. So you could, in theory, be driving around or showing up to the range with an assault, quote unquote, assault shotgun.
Right.
Not even realize it because you're thinking, oh, it's a shotgun.
Right. So, for example, a semi-automatic shotgun in New York can have a pistol grip.
Yeah.
That's a difference from a quote assault rifle, quote. It can have a pistol grip, which is actually a really big thing because semi-auto shotguns with a pistol grip are so much better to shoot.
Yeah.
They are just so much more comfortable. They are just really, really ergonomic in that sense. And also 7 rounds in a semi-automatic shotgun.
You know what's really weird, though?
What?
That it could have a pistol grip, but it can't have a thumbhole stock.
Yeah,
because like a thumbhole stock is essentially making it into a pistol grip, but having the full...
Right, it's a more sporterized stock.
Yeah, that's
bizarre. Because
bizarre.
what they would do is they would use that to get, for example, guns that were imported from abroad, they would put a thumbhole stock on and say, oh, it's a sporting gun. But in realistic, it has a pistol grip.
It's just one of those things that you would think that if they would get rid of a thumbhole stock, that a pistol grip would also be on this list,
right.
But it's not,
Yeah, I think, in their eyes, maybe there's more of a, quote, sporting purpose for a shotgun with a pistol grip, a semi-automatic, which, I don't give a crap if a gun has a sporting purpose or not. It shouldn't be what defines it. The 1968 Gun Control Act set up this whole sporting purpose clause, and it's like, it's not about sport. It's, about having a firearm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that you're like looking at and you're like, damn, like this shit really just doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't.
Like, we all know it doesn't make sense already,
right?
But it's like it just further is like, wow, this is like really weird. It's just pointless.
So, yeah, I mean, you could have a semi-automatic. It can have a pistol grip, and it can't take more than 7 rounds. Unfortunately, the Saiga shotguns are no longer legal in New York. Those were great guns, and they had 10-round mags. Semi-automatic.
I wonder if they still sell them for LEO.
Yeah, you could have them as a LEO, but they don't. Yeah. Well, you can't buy them new anymore because they were banned from import, so you can only find them on the secondhand market. The same thing with the Molat Vepers. The Veper 12 shotguns were amazing, like Cadillac of AK shotguns. Man, they were just fucking awesome. So semi-automatic shotguns are a great utility, a great home defense tool as well. But some people don't want a semi-automatic shotgun for home defense because sometimes they say it's prone to problems. It's not 100% reliable.
Really?
Well, it depends on the gun and it depends on the ammunition. Some shotguns...
I just think people will come up with anything to complain about everything. I have shot both semi-auto and pump-action shotguns. I guess you have to look at it like a pump-action shotgun is more like, in someone's eyes, a revolver.
Right.
Because you don't need the gun to actually fire to operate it.
Right.
You can always rack the round out. But that's such a silly... I mean, and how many people carry semi-automatic firearms? It's a silly thing,
And that's why I say ammunition choice and your particular gun are very important because some semi-autos are gas-operated, some are inertia-driven. So if that gun doesn't have enough gas or inertia to operate it, it can short stroke, it can malfunction. So if you're trying to shoot cheap, low-brass bird shot in a semi-auto that's not really tuned for it, it could have adverse effects.
Well, like any other gun, if you're going to use it for home defense or self-defense, you're going to want to
try it out.
Well, you're going to want to put your best possible ammunition choice into that firearm and use it only for that type of situation.
Yeah, so you have to try out ammunition, try out different types of ammunition, see what happens. And this is why you said, going to the range and training is very important, which is something that I don't do often enough, which, scold me.
No, I wasn't trying to be a dick.
Like I
was
said,
just saying.
I'm more of a rifleman.
Yeah.
And although I do love shotguns, it's like, okay, how many times,
Well, the only reason
you shoot
why
20 rounds and you're just like, fuck, man,
Yeah, well, the reason why, like, I thought about it is because, obviously I've been with you. You shoot rifles, and then you're talking about how you use a shotgun for home defense,
right?
It's just like you might as well at that point use a rifle for self-defense rounds.
Yes and no. The way my house is, it's not a huge house, and I think a rifle will, because the way you've been in my house, but the way my bedroom is, it's at the end of a hallway. Yeah. So if I step out into my hallway, I look down my hallway, and it goes into like a den area, and then there's a window, and there's a street, and then there's another house across the street.
But I mean, you're like in a basement pretty much.
Yes and no, but I do have a window at kind of chest level. It's about chest level. So if I shoot at somebody and I miss, that round is going through a window and going into the house across the street, or into the house across the canal. There's a canal. So that's why a rifle I don't want to use necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. If the situation requires it, again, I'm not trying to sound like some machismo. No, it's not that. If the situation requires it, and I have to then go out of my house to do some sort of work, as I call, wet work. Sure. I'll grab a rifle.
If you have to leave your home to defend it for whatever reason, someone's trying to set it on fire.
Yeah, that's when I'm grabbing a rifle, because at that point I'm like, there's probably more than one person. There's probably a vehicle. There's probably, again,
as we've said, if you're if you're in that
the
situation,
cops already on the way, man.
I hope they are.
And that's the whole thing. That's why I have a plan. Like
Shit
I said
happens
with
quick.
Lisa.
Yeah.
That's what I said with Lisa. It's like me and my wife have a plan.
Yeah.
Shotguns for inside the home. If shit gets so hairy, you grab the rifle and.
Yeah.
But that's why for me, inside the house, the shotgun is my preferred.
Yeah.
And honestly, at that point, the ammunition that's in the gun should be enough to contain whatever situation I have.
Yeah.
So that's why every situation's dependent. That's why I don't train so heavily with a shotgun, because it's like, okay, I can use it, I can operate it. I like the safety on the Mossberg.
Do you have a lock on your bedroom door?
A lock? No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I always thought like it would just.
I don't sleep with the door closed.
Oh, really?
No, I don't sleep with the bedroom door closed, and especially now with.
We do.
Well, especially because, not to sound like a bitch, but our cat, if she doesn't have immediate access to us, it just.
So put a cat door in your door. You there's no way you have like hardwood doors down there.
No. I'm not cutting my door open for that. Just leave the door open for the fucking cat. And then also,
I can't sleep unless my door is shut.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, what happened to you as a kid?
I don't know. I always slept that way.
That's weird, man.
Well, you know what it probably was when because I've been in your childhood home. Your room was at the end of the hall.
Yeah.
My room was right at the top of the stairs next to my parents' room. So anyone who was like going in and out of my parents' room, which could have been my parents, my sister, pets, everybody was walking past my door. So it was always natural for me. Let me close my door to like just have some privacy, because everybody's walking past my door.
The house that I grew up in, I slept with my door closed. But my house now that I'm in as an adult, I don't sleep with the door.
I don't know.
Closed.
It was just always one of those things. I just always shut my door. And weird. Now it's kind of like, I mean, obviously, like if I had no door, I would be able to sleep. But it's just one of those extra things. Like I always shut the door.
Right.
I don't know. It's just one of those psychological things.
Yeah, that's why we're different people, John. So
I'm sorry. Are you a better person because you sleep?
No. I'm just saying you.
I just assumed you slept with the door closed.
No.
Yeah.
No, honestly, no. And also, it helps with like air circulation, because you just want air to go through the house.
Well, you have central air?
No.
Well, you don't have an AC unit in your bedroom, though.
No. So during the summer, we have one air conditioner that's upstairs.
Right. Yeah, so you need it.
We get really fucking hot.
Yeah, well, we only have a unit in the bedroom, so we need it closed.
Right.
Really need it closed.
Not to get in the summer. Into our personal lives here, but
it don't make a difference. They're gonna come in and they're gonna take my AC unit.
I don't know, Cuomo, depending if you have more than 10 people. But we'll talk about that.
You have more than 10 AC units.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in another episode. But so for me, I don't have much experience with a semi-auto. I've shot them before. They're really cool. They're really fun. But for me, honestly, just the reliability of a pump, knowing, okay, this pump action with this ammunition that I shoot is going to work 100% of the time, barring any sort of fuck up on my end, a short stroke, not loading properly. So for me and my wife, this is the go-to. And, my wife doesn't like shooting this. It's a little too much for her, but that's why the plan is for me to get the gun and her to call 911 if something were to ever happen. That's the plan, Get behind the bed, point the gun at the door. Anybody that comes in that door is getting it. You
should get a like a 20 gauge option for both of you.
You know what? I do find that the 20 gauge is good to shoot, but ammunition is a thing. Like the availability of 12 gauge ammunition and the different loads that they have, the different options, is plenty more plentiful than 20 gauge. And honestly, my biggest fear is if I have a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge and I'm just trying to find ammo, it could get mixed up. Obviously, they're different sizes, but if you're just trying to quick load it, you might not feel the difference between a 20 and a 12. So that's why with shotguns, I'd rather just keep, if you're going to run 12 gauge, run 12 gauge. If you're going to run 20 gauge, run 20 gauge. I mean, obviously, people have a plethora of, 16 gauge, 410 gauge. Obviously, 410 is different than a 12, obviously. But for me personally, it's like if I just know it's 12 gauge, not a problem. That's just a me thing. Again, everybody's different. So if my wife, if I were to get her a shotgun, it would be in a 20 gauge, something, a little smaller, right. Which they do make actually the little other shotguns in 20 gauge. They also make them in 410.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for your home defense bedroom purpose, just so both of you could use it effectively.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's be real. What happens if something happens to you?
Yeah.
What happens if you're not home?
Yeah, I know.
So just for her to have that option and be proficient in it and be able to shoot it. I mean, she can shoot a 12 gauge, but I'm just saying.
I've taught her how to use this, but hopefully if it ever comes down to that point, it just like I said, the ammunition that's in the gun should hopefully be enough to mitigate whatever problem there is.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so, do you have a lot of time with shotguns? You said you got one when you were younger.
I don't really have a lot of time with shotguns. Okay. I've been skeet shooting once or twice. I don't know. Shotguns are cool, but you know what it is? During Sandy, I utilized a shotgun for home defense.
Yeah.
When our house, as you so lovingly put it, when we were homeless,
it was underwater.
When I didn't.
Oh boy.
Me and my pops, we slept at home a couple nights with the shotguns. He had his, I had mine. Just in case, man.
Yeah.
And I think I told you the story. We had a next door neighbor at the time who wasn't home. He was like on vacation. He was going to be gone for like several months.
Yeah.
Sandy hit, and in the middle of the night, my dad heard somebody like rustling around in the backyard. So he was like, "Holy shit! Like someone's trying to break into our house, or someone's trying to break into the neighbor's house." So he like goes out of the house with the fucking shotgun to like secure the house, make sure there's nobody in our backyard.
Yeah.
And he like comes around the corner with a fucking flashlight and his shotgun, and it's our fucking neighbor. And he's like, "Oh shit, don't shoot!" He's like, "The fuck, you're not supposed to be here." He's like, "Yeah, I came home early because like fucking my house is destroyed." And I was just like, "Oh shit, sorry, dude." Like he didn't almost shoot him, but like he thought someone was in our backyard trying to steal pipes and shit because that was a big thing that was going on. People were breaking into fucking houses, stealing copper out the fucking bathrooms. Like, yeah, you guys are fucking savages. Yeah. There was a guy a few blocks away from me. He broke into a house, and the homeowner just happened to be home, and he shot him with like a 22 in the ass a few times. The guy ran. So
Hey,
people had signs that was like, "We will shoot looters." My dad painted a sign. It was like, "We will shoot looters" and shit. It was funny because there was like a fucking a Red Cross truck was like driving by. They were like from Georgia some shit. They were like driving by and they saw our sign. They were giving us MREs and blankets. So they drove up and they saw the sign. They were like, "Oh shit, that sign's fucking great."
Yeah, man.
They were taking pictures of it. They were like, "My husband's gonna love this." I was like, "That's awesome, God, dude." Yeah. Like, shooters will be shot. Like,
I mean, listen, it desperate times call for desperate measures. But, don't go and hurt your fellow man. You know what I mean?
I mean, if someone's in your home...
Well, yeah, I'm saying don't go and hurt your fellow man. Like, don't go looting their shit. Don't go stealing their shit. You know? And that's...
Well, you know what? People do...
Unless it's a protest.
No, people have, like, take every opportunity to just take advantage of every situation. I mean, you're talking about people, like, lost everything, man. And now you're going into their home and you're taking, like, the last things they have.
I know. It's pretty...
Fucking...
It's pretty
just a piece of shit person, And I really hope none of our listeners did that because... I doubt that they did, but if you did, like, just know that I think you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I saw the ugliness of humanity at gas station lines.
If you're fucking stealing out of people's fucking homes during Sandy, like, the price gouging. If you own a gas station and you like price gouge people out of fucking money in that situation, you're just a terrible person. And it kind of goes back to like, the price gouging of ammunition.
I remember.
You're like a terrible person, somebody I know. I'm not gonna say who it is to me, but the Ruger. What is it?
Oh yeah, the PC9.
Yeah, they bought it. It was like triple the price.
Yep.
He's got some money, so he doesn't care.
Right.
But he bought that, and it's in 9mm, and he was buying 9mm for over $1 a round.
Ugh.
And like, dude, like that's like way too expensive because like 9mm is normally 16 cents a round.
20 cents.
Yeah,
Tops, yeah.
20 cents tops.
I know.
Like I see 20 cents and I'm like, I don't want it. But he's like, yeah, I know, but I want it. And he's got money, so that's what it is.
I know that just pains me.
You know why? And he's buying it at our favorite gun shop, Long Island's favorite gun shop. Yeah. Not, but he's buying it there, and he knows he's getting fucking just ripped off.
But see, why buy it anyway if he knows he's getting fucked?
For the same reason that everyone's buying it.
You said he's got, he's pretty well off, but
but it's the same reason why everybody else is buying it, because they just feel like they have to have it. And this goes back to, if you could afford it, you're just gonna buy it.
A Ruger PC9 for $1,400.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then fucking 9mm at $1 a round. I think he went over to another place. We've been there before. I won't say the name, but he was buying like 200 rounds for like $150. It's like 75 cents a round or whatever it is. Yeah. It's a lot of money, man.
It is.
And it shouldn't be that much money.
No, it should not be. But
because, just to touch on this real quick before we end or move on, whatever we're going to, I think we're almost at the time. I don't know. You have anything really else to say? Okay. We were talking about this, the ammo nonsense.
Yeah.
Last episode, whatever. And then like in the past, when it came up at this gun shop, like pretty much price gouging everybody, and they were like, yeah, well, there's a shortage, so to prevent people from just like hoarding it and buying it, we have to make the prices higher. It's like, or you could just ration how many boxes per person. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like there's different ways to go.
Right. Like instead of saying, because like basically them making the prices high is just saying, well, if you can afford it, you can have it, and we're gonna make a lot of money off of it, opposed to saying, we want everyone to be able to have it. We're going to only sell you 2 boxes per person at an appropriate price. It could be a little more, but $1 a round is astronomically high.
From what I've heard, though, it's not the manufacturers raising the prices. It's distributors and then the stores.
Oh, 100%.
Demand and supply. One thing, though, that I did want to talk about, John, was the differences you might find in these two popular shotguns, a Remington 870 pattern and a Mossberg pattern, because a lot of guns are modeled after these. I know, for example, Norinco makes it's called like a Hawk shotgun. It's modeled after an 870, and some manufacturers model their guns after a Mossberg. I prefer, honestly, the Mossberg way that they do things. Like, for example, here, the safety. I know, for example, that if the safety is on like what they call a rear tank safety, it's on the back of the receiver. So if it's in the rear position, I know it's unsafe. If you move it forward, there's a red dot.
Yeah.
So I know, for example, if I have the gun at a shoulder ready position like this, like I'm holding it, I'm not pointing it at John. I know that all I have to do is when I grab the gun, slide my hand forward, and it's like this. Now
it's almost like your thumb's in that natural position already.
Right. Now I know I was talking away from the mic, so excuse me, but I know on this Remington, it's like, okay, the same thing kind of applies to where you have to know which way the safety is engaged, left or right.
And your finger is awfully close to the trigger at that point.
Right. So, for example, though, I'm a righty, and the way the Remington 870 works is when you grab the gun, the index finger pushes the safety off. So the safety's off.
Right.
But if you're a lefty,
can you get it in a lefty configuration for that purpose?
You might be able to. I'm not sure offhand.
I'm curious.
But for example, if you're a lefty, you can't disengage the safety from the left side. You have to come over to the right. Mm-hmm. That's why I like the Mossberg. It's ambidextrous. Yeah. It is just forward. Just take the gun off, and it's it's ready to go.
But what I don't like about the Mossberg is the. I'm sorry, but what I don't like about the Mossberg is the what's this
slide release?
The slide release is like in a weird spot. Like it's almost like you can't really get it. I would notice you can't really get it with your thumb in a comfortable position. Like if you.
Well, depending, because this has a pistol grip. So if it had a more traditional hunting grip, you could probably get it a little easier. The Remington, the slide release, I believe, is forward of the trigger grip.
Yeah.
But on the Mossberg, it's in the back.
On my Mossberg, though, I think it's up here as well.
It depends on the model.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things I noticed, And I guess I'm just used to my shotgun, but
so for example, on the Remington, you can, if you got long fingers, you could reach the slide release with your index finger over the front of the trigger group.
Right.
But depending on how big your hands is, you have to release it with your non-dominant hand. That's also why I like the Mossberg, because for me at least, you could still manipulate the slide release even with the pistol grip. You just have to kind of press up with your thumb. For me, like I said, I just think the Mossberg is more ergonomic.
You You know what it probably is? It's this.
The stock?
Yeah, it gets in my way.
Yeah. Well, it's a collapsible stock.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, because I would, naturally, I'd want to just bring my hand around and just click it, but I can't because, like, my wrist just totally hits the...
Right, and we're also sitting in a chair. You're not standing. You know, the stock is in all the way at the moment just to save space on the table. Also, Mossberg, you know, in my opinion, there's plenty of police departments that use Mossberg, and Remington.
Oh, yeah.
But Mossberg has the 590A1, the military contract gun.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with either of these shotguns.
No, there's nothing wrong with either.
At this point, we're nitpicking, but
right. But for me, ergonomically speaking, that's why I prefer Mossberg. Just the way the safety is. Like, for example, I can just know forward. Okay, safety's off, ready to rock. It also is it has aggressive texturing on the safety, so it's really easy to push forward. You know, forward and aft. That's just, you know, again, my preference, and you really have to go and feel them and shoot them to find out, you know, which ones are better, which ones you prefer. Not that one's better than the other, because they're both very proven, very reliable. But you just have to feel them, handle them, shoot them to feel which one's better. Now, one thing I was talking to John about was the imported shotguns that you see on the market today from Turkey. They are, from what I hear, very good quality. A coworker of mine has a Turkish shotgun. He's like, the thing is great for the price. I wouldn't buy one and use it for home defense unless I've shot one and I know that it works, which obviously you can't just go borrow a gun from a store, shoot, and be like, you know, I want to...
I mean, you could buy it, and then if you don't like it, you could always resell it.
Yeah, you could, but then you just...
Or it's just another gun in your collection.
Exactly. So if I'm going to buy something like, for example, Remington and Mossberg, I know they are great guns, no doubt about it. But, you know, they're not available nowadays. They're just non-existent.
You know, it's unfortunate, and it fucking pains me, but we're looking at probably a year before all this shit comes back to some semi-normal, some, you know...
Yeah, part of it's panic buying. Also, part of it was factories having to limit the number of staff there because of COVID and put in
Dude, it was like the trifecta. What did I call it? The trifecto?
Yeah, the trifecta.
Yeah. You know, you have the pandemic, you have the riots, and you have a presidential election year. I mean, holy shit. You know, so the trifecta... It makes
2012 look like a fucking child's
I mean,
play,
this is by far the most... This is the worst I think I've ever seen it. The trifecta.
After Sandy Hook, man, there was no ammunition anywhere, but the price gouging wasn't as outrageous as it was now. I mean, you could still find guns. And I was saying, I bought this Mossberg off of before Facebook went full, you know, asshole on everyone. Long Island, there's a Long Island firearms group, and people used to be able to just post up firearms for sale, and you would meet an FFL, do a background check, and you know, that was it. It was the legal way to sell a gun.
It's not, you know, they banned it because they're saying it was the sale of.
Right.
You know, these fucking websites, they get away with so much shit because they say they're not a publisher.
Right.
You know, but then they say, oh, well, you can't, you have to ban, they're pretty much taking it as like they're like selling the gun or like they're facilitating a sale, which they're really not at all. You know?
Yeah,
they're as if like I wanted to meet up with you to buy a car.
Right.
Like
exactly.
they didn't sell me the car. They just put two people into contact with each other, which is the whole point of fucking social media, right? You know, like it's just one of those things. I really hope they deal with in some way, you know, the government has to deal with. Yeah, they're going to Parler.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't have Parler yet. Have you tried it?
Yeah, I had it for a very long time.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like Twitter. It's like Twitter.
I don't know. So, not Twitter either. But.
Well, yeah, but you know, you pretty much just it's like Twitter in the fact that you follow somebody and they just post information, and then you could retweet it or you know whatever. I don't know if they call it.
Is it like Facebook to where like let's just say for example you want to buy and sell firearms?
No, it's like Twitter.
Okay.
It's basically just a platform to share, you know, links.
Okay.
You know, you type whatever
speech and free speech.
Yeah, and the whole thing about Parler is that's what they don't censor conservative speech, which is what a lot of places are doing right now, and they don't censor any speech. It's not like they're censoring liberal
as long as it's legal and not promoting.
As long as you're not
illegal.
Exactly, then they don't censor.
They're more hands off.
They're more First Amendment free speech,
right? Which is the way things should be.
Well, it should be, but they're a private company and they don't have to.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that people they get all like up in arms about, like, oh, you know, Facebook is, you know, infringing.
Right. Facebook has the right technically to do whatever they want, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, is any laws being broken? No. Is anyone being hurt? No. They define what hate speech is, and suddenly that's the new norm. They define what election news is, and suddenly that's normal.
It's not even that. It comes down to Trump will post something. Oh, like we think that there was election fraud, and then they'll send a link. why election fraud is so rare.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at that point, they're canceling out what Trump has to say, which Trump said this, but let me tell you the truth. That's pretty much what, quote unquote, that's what Facebook is doing, Twitter's doing.
And also Facebook owns Instagram. And the other day I was on Instagram and I went to go share a post by Iraq Vet 8888, the YouTuber. And it was about just basically like, don't take my Second Amendment rights away. And he tagged Donald Trump Jr., whatever. And I went to go share it, and then a thing popped up, and it said, this may be false information of election. Are you sure you want to share it? And I'm like, the fuck? Just because he tagged the president, they had a little thing that popped up and say, hey, you sure you want to share this? Check your election results before sharing.
Right.
And I'm like,
it's irrelevant.
What does this have to do just because he tagged the president?
Yeah. Well, did you saw our post about Biden?
Yeah.
The post with Biden biting the finger of, I guess it's his wife, Jill.
I have no idea.
And I posted it and it wasn't coming up and I was like, that's really weird. And then eventually it populated and it had a little disclaimer at the bottom, check election results. I'm like,
what
the
does
fuck?
That have to do with anything?
It's a fucking picture of him biting a finger, first of all. And I didn't even say anything about the election. I was just like, his gun law, it was about his gun laws. It was very interesting to me that they even just the mere posting of a picture of Biden is enough for them to say, oh well, we have to put a disclaimer on this that it's fake news or whatever.
I know it's total BS.
Yeah,
man.
it is,
and this is why people are getting tired of these giant tech companies.
They are
ruling. Yep. I mean, and also you have the option to not be on them.
Correct, I think, but for a long time they're the only option, which is why I think it's good now that this is happening. We're getting things like Parler, Rumble. Rumble is like YouTube. It's like the new YouTube. So I think more and more people. I mean,
MeWe
YouTube's
is
always
an alternative to Facebook.
What is it called?
MeWe.
MeWe. I have to look into that. We should make.
Yeah, and they also allow firearm sales. So a lot of people migrated from Facebook to that. A lot of groups that I belong to, collecting groups, migrated to there.
Don't get me wrong. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They're going to be
biggies.
Yeah. Even Google throttles links.
Yeah.
If you want to search something, you're going to get all the mainstream media bullshit before you have to go pages in to really find out. Let me get a more unbiased opinion on some of these things. So, we just have to, hopefully that this turns the tide. I mean, like we've said before, Trump has released, started a fire in a lot of people,
He really has.
And it's caused companies to be created because of, all this stuff. Like we said, Rumble, Parler.
Yeah, the alternatives. And they will, one of the first ones that I remember was Full 30. I don't know if you remember Full 30. It was a YouTube alternative for firearms only. And it was a bunch of content creators got together and said, hey, we need an alternative to YouTube because they're censoring us, they're taking in videos. So they got together and created Full 30, a video hosting.
What happened to them?
They're still around. Full 30 is still a thing. It's just not as popular as YouTube, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's obviously they have to maintain an infrastructure to host these videos.
You see Rumble.
Only, they invited certain people to Full 30, content creators. It was like, hey, these are the guys that are on YouTube that you know and love. Check us out on this other platform.
It's funny when you go. It's funny when you go to Rumble and Parler. I'm sure you would imagine most of the people on Rumble and Parler are conservatives, Republicans, because they're the ones who feel like they've been wronged by the big tech companies. But I just go to Rumble, I've never been on Rumble before. I don't have an account, and all the links, it's Mike Pence, Mike Pence. Trump was not allowed the Trump campaign with Fox News and Max News or whatever the fuck that new one is.
Max.
I went to have you ever been to the diner over here with me?
Which diner?
There's a diner right down the block.
No.
Okay, I don't want to give away where I live, but there's a diner over here. If people will know right away when I say what they're about. But the guy who owns the diner, he has 4 kids. One runs the diner with him. They're older, and the other 3 are police officers. There's a NYPD cop, a Nassau cop, and I think a Port Authority cop. Mm-hmm. You walk into the vestibule there, and the entire thing is just pictures of Trump, pictures of his kids, cops. Yeah. There's always a bunch of cops in the diner. They're Republican, they're conservative, and it's funny. They would always they have 1 million TVs in there. Everywhere you look, there's a fucking huge big screen TV. Always Fox News, nothing else. Always Fox News. Now that Fox News is going more left, everything is news. Everything is Newsmax. It's so funny. 1 week, because I was there 1 week, and it was all Fox, and then I was there less than 7 days later, Newsmax.
See, the thing with Fox was it really surprised me kind of the way they went with the election results.
Listen, dude, the Murdoch family, you know about them?
No.
The Murdoch family owns Fox essentially, and they're huge Biden supporters. And that's a problem, man. When you have the people who own these media companies, basically like news outlets that are like really supportive of one candidate over the other, they could really, like we've talked about, sway an election.
Yeah.
Not even through like fraud, but just through information.
Right.
There's so much power in information, and that's what a lot of people are upset about, with this election.
And you know what destroys computers?
What?
Shotguns.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Man. I'm just joking around, but honestly, when it comes in terms of social media, just really be discretionary. Really be the better person on social media. Do your own thing. If you want to go to Parler, if you want to go to these other websites,
I say go to Parler.
Yeah,
go to Parler. Go
we
to
should
Rumble.
make a Parler.
Yeah, we will. I think we'll do it today. I can take care of it.
Yeah.
I do all the social media shit for the most part.
Yes, he is. He's pretty decent at it.
I try and do. I mean, I have a full-time job. I try and do a post. I try not to blow people up.
Both do.
I think we will do a Rumble, and now is probably a good time to get on board with these platforms because they're so new.
A lot of people are migrating, and yeah, for sure, man. I think also letting people know about alternatives. Hey, did you check out this other site or this other media outlet? Is very important. And these other websites are firearm friendly, from what I hear.
Do you know who is like an owner in Parler?
No.
Dan Bongino.
Oh, cool. Right on.
And he didn't create it, but like he came in later after the fact, and he like provided some funding.
Parler's been around for a number of years now.
It has been.
It's not
right, but he got on board with it just recently. I think at the beginning of this year, because I guess they probably asked him if he wanted to like provide funding for like a percent. So like and he's a huge name in conservative conservative outlets.
Community.
So so I would definitely check out Parler, check out Rumble. Definitely check out Parler because it's like the new Twitter.
Yeah, it's coming up, man.
So
it's coming up. But wrapping up with shotguns, I think that everyone should have one. Everyone should at least get one that fits them, is suited for them. Ask questions. Ask people, hey, I'm interested in getting a shotgun. Do you have one? Maybe we go to the range. I could try it out. Yeah. Obviously, I know ammunition's a bitch right now, so use it sparingly, but see what fits you. If you find that you like Remington over Mossberg, or hey, this new import shotgun is great, it has the features of both, or I really like this stock, or I like this style, try it out, see what happens. If you have any questions about shotguns, you could ask us. I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but I could always point you in the right direction. I can tell you what works for me, what doesn't work for me. Some people reached out and shared pictures of them listening to the podcast, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And some people comment on the Facebook page. One guy local showed a picture of him taking his daughter out to the shooting range.
Yes, that was cool.
We love seeing that. If people listen and they want to share pictures of them shooting their guns or a gun collection or talking about them, feel free, drop us a line, man. We love the interaction with people who listen.
We have 15 reviews on our
podcast,
on Apple Podcast. Not just 5-star. They're all 5-star reviews, which we really appreciate. Yeah. And also, they didn't really write anything, but they gave us the review, which we appreciated. So
I've also noticed that a lot of people like the Facebook page recently. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. We get like a few likes a day.
I know,
or so,
and
like
I think it has to do with people searching out this information. People
I hope
saying, hey, I need to know about firearms. Yeah. I need to get this information. And I know we're not the most super technical people, but we're just two guys that love guns.
Yeah, we just talk normal dudes. Like you would.
We're not sponsored by anybody. We're just two dudes.
Although we would love to be sponsored, so if you would like to sponsor us, please reach out.
Right.
No, but we're not sponsored.
We'll drink your coffee. We'll wear your shoes.
I will. Yeah, we will 100%. We will give you a shout out if you want to send us some coffee.
18 years. Yeah.
18 years.
The long game. I'm playing
the long game. Well, you got it. But that's not why we're doing it,
It's really not.
As you guys know, we started out just like, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure. This is great. But we love seeing people interacting. We love people reaching out. Obviously, we have full-time jobs, so if we don't get back to immediately, hey. But we do read the comments.
Well, what's nice is like Taylor, you work during the day and I work during the night, so like we kind of have 24-hour coverage more or less. I work midnight, so
yeah. So other than that, man, I say go out, get a shotgun. Don't follow Sleepy Joe's advice and just blast off rounds indiscriminately from your porch.
I wonder if that could be used as a defense in court now because the president said that we could do it.
Just go out, get yourself.
I mean, they blame Trump for everything else, right? Oh, Trump doesn't wear a mask, so why should I? Oh, okay. Well, Biden said I can just fire 2 blasts of my double-barreled shotgun off my fucking balcony.
Right.
Why can't I do it?
Let's try that here, John. Your neighbor's house is only 2 feet away.
Let's see how that works. Yeah, so.
All right, man. I think that was a good topic, and definitely reach out.
Yeah.
Like I said in the last episode, if you see any like good deals or good sales or anything, feel free to post it on the Facebook page. You've been to a store locally, and
buy yourself one. Oh yeah, if you see ammo anywhere, let everybody know.
Buy some for yourself first.
None. Yeah, there's nothing.
Take care of yourself first, and then let everyone know. Like I said, I kind of want to just build a community about it, and get people armed. All right,
guys, check us out. Facebook, Instagram. Check out us. Spotify. Check us out on all the podcast outlets. NYGunGuys, all one word. Like us, share us, subscribe. Please leave us a review. Comment on shit, whatever you guys want to do. Listen to us, and we really appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you next time, and as always, be safe.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode of the New York Gun Guys podcast. If you guys enjoyed the show, check out our previous episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you can find a podcast. We have new episodes every Monday and Friday, so check us out. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at NYGunGuys. Check us out. Give us a like, give us a follow, share it. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, stay safe.